Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Dominic, aka Dominic Cyber Genius, and I'm coming back to you guys with another video. This video is going to be a cyber threat intelligence report. Specifically, it's going to be about these hackers that have been pushing a fake Pokemon NFT game, and they've been pushing their fake website to deploy remote access software in order to take over people's devices, specifically Windows devices. So let's get into this breakdown. Hey everyone, this is my cyber threat intelligence report on the new hack that people are talking about. It's the fake Pokemon NFT game website, and it's taking over a bunch of Windows devices. So let's get started and let's get into it. So what's been happening recently, if I scroll up, so many threat actors now have been using this Pokemon NFT card game website as a scam. So what they're doing is they're distributing remote access software in order to take control of victims' devices. So for those that aren't familiar with what remoting is or remote access software is that if you can think about it as this, if you're working remote and you're doing your job from home, that means you're able to do your job from home and access the network that your job's providing you for without actually being physically in the store, right? So that's kind of the same for computers. Remote access software allows you to connect to someone's computer without actually being in the same room as them. So they can be halfway across the world and connect to your computer. So there's good times and bad times. Good times is when you need to maybe troubleshoot something and you're in the IT department and you're trying to remote into someone's computer to fix something, right? Or maybe gain admin privileges so you can actually help them. Bad times is when the threat actor gets this downloaded on your computer and then is able to access whatever you have, control your mouse, control your keyboard, deploy extensional malware, steal data, just mess your whole computer up. So that's what they're kind of doing. So the actual remote access software they're using is called, I believe it's called Net Support. So they're getting people to download Net Support and they're basically taking over their actual computer. And it's kind of scary to think about because if the hacker has that much access to your computer, they can basically do anything. So the website that is hosting this is pokemon-go.io. The reason I have those little brackets in between it is it's defanging it. So anytime you're a malware analyst or you're dealing with some type of malware, right, you don't want it to actually configure on your computer and mess up, right? This is why you run in a sandbox. So you would defang URLs or suspicious URLs or defang any malicious executables to make sure that it's not running, right? So that's just doing that just for safe precautions. The actual computer people actually did that the same thing. So they're just taking precautions. So that's kind of what defanging is and what they're doing when it comes to putting these brackets in there. So what they're portraying is that it's this fake Pokemon NFT card game website. So they're saying that you can play this fun, cool game that allows you to trade Pokemon NFTs as well as buy tokens, right? It's going to be built around the actual Pokemon franchise, and it's giving users a strategic way to have fun while investing, different profits when it comes to NFT. In reality, they're not having fun, they're getting tricked and they're being lied to. And in reality, they're just getting their computer taken over in an instant, depending on if they fall for the trick or not. The reason why these operators are successful and the reason why we see so many successful phishing attacks is one, no user awareness. Two, the actual company or people they're trying to impersonate. Some of them do a good job, but if you really look at the grand scheme of things and look at certain things, there's a lot of misspelling errors and there's a bunch of little errors that if you really look at it, you would see that it's fake. But something like this where someone's not known, and say for example, if I'm a cryptocurrency guy or somebody that trades crypto or does NFTs and I'm seeing this is cool, I would think somebody that doesn't have the awareness would think, oh, this is kind of cool, I can go into this and actually try to do something and have fun and trade. And in reality, it's just a living nightmare. They're able to do this because the popularity for Pokemon NFTs, even though NFTs and cryptos took a dump, they're still pretty popular, and Pokemon is one of the biggest games in the world still to this day. It's been around for a while, so that's where they're able to draw on this popularity and actually get people to click, right? And how they were saying the threat actors are able to get traffic to the website is pretty usual through mouse spam, so different malicious spam emails, social media, third party sites, maybe even private Telegram channels, people telling other people, hey, come to this website and tricking them, right? So after that, we're going to be getting into what actually happened. So you can see these kind of pictures looks promising. Like that graphic looks pretty real. Any Pokemon fan would be like, "Oh, I know that Pokemon." Right. So I don't know if this Pokemon is rare or not, but you can see the detail, the coloring, the branding, just making it look legit. You see right here by tokens, marketplace even has a how to play. So these threat actors are getting really, really, really creative. So now we're going to be getting into the part where they're actually on the site and they're going to be clicking the thing that installs this remote software. So the option for them to do this or to download the game is this button called Play on PC. So they have to click that button in order to download the game. So if users click this button, their computer actually downloads an executable that looks like a legitimate game installer, right? If you see different game installers, it's usually ISO file or some type of other file with an actual extension that's going to solidify that, hey, this is a game installer and this is what's happening. But in reality, the threat actors were able to masquerade the actual executable and basically put in the download for the net support remote access tool. So it's not really downloading legitimate game installer. It's just downloading the net support remote access tool. They're able to masquerade the wording in the text and make it look like, hey, you're installing this game, but in reality, you're installing this remote access software tool. And it's being installed on their systems. Analysts at the company ASEC or ASEC did discover this operation. They also reported that there was a second site that was up. This one is actually down now. It's called beta-pokemoncards.io. Usually domains that have .io or like crypto or maybe gaming. So anything related to gaming, you'll kind of see .io, right? So, but since this discovery, they were saying this one has already been taken down. The campaign overall has been seen since December 2022. So it's relatively new. So it hasn't been out that long. So that's why they were still saying that this site is still up at the time of the writing. And earlier samples have shown that the same operators pushed a fake Visual Studio file instead of a Pokemon game. This was like their first actual, what is an attack? So when they were first appearing in December, this is what they're actually doing. Instead of using the Pokemon scan, they're pushing fake Visual Studio files, right? So Visual Studio, that's a common place where editors or developers are working on their code. So you can already tell that's the breeding ground for threat actors when deploying malicious code on a user's computer. This is kind of just talking about dropping the net support, dropping the actual remote access tool, what they're doing, what actual dependencies and things they're putting in, different paths to where it makes it look legitimate and where it does and where it goes evaded. Kind of you can go through here and see what they're actually doing in the settings they're putting in the person's computer to make sure that the actual net support remote access tool goes unnoticed. So for the attack tactics, techniques, and procedures, I did command and control. So obviously it's remote access software. That's what net support is. It's actually a legitimate software product. But when it comes to the power of remoting and how powerful that really is, this is a common thing threat actors are going to use when it comes to getting access to things on a user's computer. Exfiltration, so this is kind of getting data out of the network. So I put exfiltration over C2 channel. Usually any attack that has somebody stealing data they're going to have to implement a C2 channel or some type of channel that's allowing them to communicate to the affected device and actually relay commands that allow them to continuously affect the device and exfiltrate and get out any data that they need from that network or that host. Privilege escalation, nobody's trying to be a regular user. Usually, if they basically privilege escalation. So once they get the remote access software installed and it's on your computer, they're basically whatever privileges you have. If you're not being smart and you're actually the local admin on your computer, I recommend one cybersecurity tip: make 2 accounts on your computer if you just got it, or if you don't have it, or if you do have a computer already, make another account. Make one account that's the admin account. You never touch that account. Make sure that account is secure with a really good password, and then you make your personal account a regular user. This case that if you were to get hacked, an attacker can't, what is it? I don't want to say not can't steal everything, but they can't access a lot of things due to you not being admin, right? And they can't run all the commands they would want to if you're not admin. If you're familiar with Kali or just command line in general, if you're not admin or certain things or you're not sudo, then it won't let you even run the command and it's just going to give you an error. So that's what they're kind of doing. Exploitation for privilege escalation. They're trying to get into your accounts and abuse them. Defensive agent, so masquerading. This plays in part of the actual phishing site. This plays in part of when they did the download, they made it to where they were able to masquerade the actual file that was being downloaded. They made it look like it was a game installer file that was being downloaded, but in reality, the executable was the net support remote access software. So execution, so software deployment tools, command and scripting interpreter. This kind of comes in place with the things that are when they're actually dropping the remote access tools, so the different tools they're using or the different commands and settings they're putting together in certain files to make it to where the actual malware or the remote access software is staying hidden. So that's kind of what they're doing when it comes to execution. I also forgot to put another one, but another good technique is user execution. So anything that related to phishing, right, it has to get delivered somewhere. If you're clicking on it, you're basically executing that malware. So it's up to you not to click on it. So usually this starts with user execution. If someone clicks on it or interacts with this website, they're user execution. They're the ones that are going to be executing it because they're the ones clicking on the buttons to actually download things. Next is going to be collection. So this comes in play with remote access software. So if you're familiar with any remote access tool, you get to see the person's screen. So depending on what type of tool it is or how powerful it is, you can see the person's screen. You can capture it so they can take pictures. You can also get video of the screen and get them seeing what they're actually doing. So you can actually even maybe, see what type of passwords they're putting in or being like that sneaky. Then, what is it? Ooh, I messed up. My bad, y'all. Accidentally double typed it, but doing on the execution, I did have these two, and I believe boot or login auto restart execution. So this was kind of going into this. So when it comes to boot or login auto start execution, so what the attacker is having to do is that the installer is going to create an entry in the Windows startup folder to ensure that the rat will execute upon the system boot. So usually this is how some reverse shells are put into place, right? If things aren't configured right and you're able to change files, then the threat actor can stop the service from running and then restart the service. And then once it restarts, it's going to execute the actual malware. Then reconnaissance, so fishing for information, gather victim identity information. So the information they can gather is endless when it comes to actually having hands-on access to someone's mouse or keyboard and not being in the same room. So they can gather information about their files, see what software they have, maybe see if there's vulnerabilities with that if it's not updated. So the possibilities are endless. Impact, so data manipulation and destruction. So they can delete files, they can encrypt files. I don't know if they can encrypt them, but they can definitely delete them, steal files, steal passwords. So like I said again, data they can steal is endless. And then for the last one, initial access. So what are they doing to initially get access to the user's computer? This is through the phishing website. This is through them clicking this PC button, which downloads the actual net support installer, and they're able to make the website look like it's a real Pokemon NFT game. So that's what comes into play when it comes to exploitation of public facing application, and then trusted relationship, making it seem like the game developers are real and that these developers made this cool game for you to interact with and trade NFTs and do cool stuff with Pokemon. So that's it for the TTPs. Affected assets and organizational impact. So what is this having on people and the impact it is on organizations if they were to be hit? So once the threat actors are able to get the remote software installed on the victim's computer, this is kind of what I'm going into earlier, they can now remotely connect to it. Look at me. I'm human, y'all. Sorry. Remotely connect to it. This is going to allow them to steal any data, install other malware, or even attempt to spread further malware on the network, right? Or them to even move laterally through the network. So kind of what I was going through earlier, the possibilities they can do are endless. And even though I was saying like in the beginning of the report that Support Manager is a legitimate software product, but since it's a remote software product, right, and allows you to get remote access, this is typically the common software that's used by threat actors as part of their malicious campaigns. The app itself does support remote screen control, screen recording, system monitoring, remote system grouping for better control, and multiple connectivity options. So just off that sentence right there, there's a bunch of stuff they can do when it comes to capturing your screen, capturing what software you have, and capturing what you're actually doing and what places you're actually visiting. And like I was saying earlier, again, all those things allow for any threat actor to steal valuable files off of someone's computer, delete them, and even destroy it. So that's what goes into that data manipulation, data destruction tactic and technique that I was talking about before I got to the affected assets and organizational impact. And some couple of stats or things that I found in the article was that in 2020 and 2022, there were 2 incidents that revolved around downloading the net support remote access software. These included attackers using fake Cloudflare, DDoS, so denial of service protection pages, and COVID-19 themed Excel files. So now this is getting into the mitigation and response. They didn't really go into the mitigation in here, or they do, like right here, right? I believe. I don't even think they actually go into it, but seeing this before and seeing these type of softwares being downloaded and going onto these phishing sites, I kind of have an idea of what people can do. So just to give it any context, they were saying that if it was installed, the can have severe repercussions as well as consequences and can result in broad and severe infections. The fake installer does allow for unauthorized access to sensitive data and downloading other malware to the computer. This is why it's always recommended, always recommended to check messages for suspicious details. Do not click on any links, any files, or download any files from unknown senders. Also, if a deal is too good to be true, most likely it's good to be true, bro. It's too good to be true. Most likely it is, right? Just to be on the safe side, do not click on those type of pop-ups. If it's saying, hey, I can guarantee you 100% return in the stock market and get you triple your income, that's a lie. You can't get 100% return in nothing. You can't even get 100% return in life, right? Because nothing's guaranteed, right? We're not promised tomorrow. So you just got to live every day with a positive mindset. But going back into the actual article, do not try to fall for these pop-ups. And then lastly, always download your software, the legitimate software from the company's actual website rather than a third-party site or vendor. If the app is in the Google Play Store and it's known for being there, go download it. Don't go download it off some third-party site that you don't know, and then you end up getting hacked and more malware spread on your computer, and then your computer's messed up, and then you're kind of assed out. So that is the article for today. That is the fake Pokemon NFT game website CTI report. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys loved it. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And hope you guys have a blessed day, blessed weekend, blessed league. Let's go. Let's keep working. Let's keep pushing, being positive. Let's get it. And I'm out. Peace.